up, everybody? Welcome to Nourishing Let's Talk to Tuesdays. Here,
he's over there struggling. Did you forget which show it was? I ain't gonna lie to you, I be doing that shit all the time.
Yeah, man, we always we do so many like shows, man. Like sometimes I gotta backtrack a little bit, you know. But no, I was trying to get a nigga a little bite to eat, and then my allergies is kind of messing me up a little bit too. So I'm trying not to sneeze and shit. Hold on.
Oh, okay. What's good, Conrad? What's good, Gray Pill?
Oh, man, my bad. But anyway, salute to you guys, man. Damn, what a hell of a way to start the goddamn show, right? But yeah, tonight, man, we're gonna be doing like a reaction from Anton Daniels' channel, and it's called like the After Hour Show. And yeah, we're gonna be talking about like some of these people that will say like never like a man more than he likes you. So shout out to Jerk, man, for finding this video. And yeah, we're gonna definitely react to get started. But
real quick, shout out to 100. I saw him on what panel I seen him up there. 100 was cooking people up. So shout out to 100. But yeah, on that clip, the one I saw, man, yeah, nah, and shout out to Anton, man. I think Anton be recruiting at like what's them with the crazy people, them asylums, because he be finding some crazy chicks. His shows be entertaining, man. So yeah, if y'all get some time, man, I think he got a couple panels, and then he got the after hours. So yeah, he be finding them, man. Shout out to him, man. That cat be recruiting.
Yeah, he find the right ones to to like get the live started. So, but yeah, man, let's go ahead, man. We're gonna just take a look.
Pull that up
because we also have a special guest that's on there too, Myron Gaines. But we're definitely gonna play his segment later on. But let's see how this turns out. All right, let's see. Fair use.
Ever. All right, let's go ahead and get into the show. This is crazy. All right, so let me go ahead and start off with the first one. So I want to start this off light, and then we're going to navigate into it.
Oh, this
woman says, we're going to navigate into it. A woman says, never like a man more than he likes you, and that is the key to a successful relationship. This is what she had to say.
I'm going to say this, and I'm only going to say it once, and I need you to take heed. You can't like him more than he likes you. And let me rephrase it, because maybe you didn't understand. He has to like you more than you like him for it to actually work. So all you really need to do is sit back.
Hold on,
and just
pause.
enjoy the ride.
Yeah,
you can get off if you don't like it. You can stay on if you want to.
Oh, it's not pausing. Hold on.
But really, you can do what you want to do.
Hey, for a second, I thought that was Queen Maker for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. What light-skinned chicks just fucking the game up. It's like the light-skinned girls they coming out here saying the most outrageous shit. But real quick, I know we was kind of talking about this the other day, me, you, Stan, and Wally.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I forgot your take on that? Do you think a female should like a man more, or should a man like a female more in a relationship? Shit, I was stumbling on that.
I remember that. I think we said that this was like from like the previous live stream about the Facebook one, right? I could reiterate.
Yeah, I think it was.
So all right, so even though I would say like both people, right, should like have that mutual like for each other. But for me as a guy, I would want the woman to like me more, just more than as I like her. And the reason why I recommend that is because like a lot of times, man, like, we always gonna put ourselves out there. We want to put that extra work into it. And the way how you could kind of tell like if this person really into you is based on the mutual investment that she puts into it. A lot of times we come in, we're not expecting for anything. We're never expecting for much. we're just expecting to have a good time and probably just like, like clap some cheeks or whatever. But a lot of times we don't really get that. Most men don't really get that. So they feel like, they're kind of like cutting their end short. But if you find a person that's like, who's really, really into you, that's like down to like, kind of like, rock with you and is willing to like invest her time and her resources for you. Hey man, the only thing I can say is, man, like just go for it. That's how I look at it. I'd rather like deal with somebody that like me for me as opposed to me trying to convince that woman to like me for me. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because, most people can be like, it's got to be both. But I do think, and I see Conrad got the same sentiments. It's like, I think females do got to love the man a little bit more. Because I'll say just by nature, women are a little more selfish and self-centered. So I think if they like the man more, then that would kind of negate that nature and stuff. And she will actually be, I say, kind of invested into the relationship. Because, for the most part, just listen to a lot of females, they're kind of coming to the relationship expecting things. And I think you was kind of hitting on that, like, hey, he's got to do this. He's got to do this. He's got to pay the bills. He's got to provide provision and all this stuff. So yeah. I think if they like you more, it would kind of get rid of some of that self-centered nature to the point where they're there for the right reasons and stuff. So I think that's why you do. And then also, I just think, females in a lot of cases, they get, we hear them all the time. And if you look at the divorce stats, and, it's nuanced. So, but they tend to get bored easier. So I think if they're not really, they don't like you. And that's why I always say, man, women should invest in you and they have to have that desire for you, because if they're not really into you, it's easy for them to like kind of jump off or leave that relationship and stuff, because they get bored a little easier. Their emotions get caught up. They're like, you know what, man, damn this. So I think that's why they have to be a little bit more into you than the man is. So yeah.
Yeah, some person point this out, and I don't remember who, but it's kind of like this. A lot of times, if I can remember vaguely, right? A lot of times, women don't have to, by experience, don't have to learn like about men as much as we have to learn about them. And we have to take our time, we have to take our effort to learn about the emotions, what makes them tick, what makes when the sun goes up and the moon goes and the sun goes down. We gotta understand different mood swings and know certain body parts. But women, they ain't gotta invest the time for us. So because of that, it's like we kind of put ourselves like in that type of situation where you have this weird looking lady, right? A spit image queen maker.
It's a bootleg queen maker.
Yeah, the bootleg one, right? That's giving advice like to like, the sisterhood and try to tell them that go for men that want them to, that like them more. And the thing is, man, like you just only help, like just sabotaging, their chance of getting picked. Because yeah, they could take that advice, but how many women now these days are actually pursuing men? So an example for myself, like I didn't realize, man, like, how much like, and I'm talking about like the prettiest of type of women, like how much like they're really in need of male attention, how they desperately need like a man to like of their choice, of their liking, just to walk up to him and approach him, just to say hello to him. A lot of these dudes, like, men stop coming and approaching and, like having conversations. And so that's why you got these women going like all over social media and dating apps. And when you finally meet them, at one point, they'll play hard to get and they won't really like, give up the draws. But shit, now these days, like you can meet them first day and man, they already got their cheeks spread wide open for you.
God damn. You said
man,
ain't wasting no time. Yeah, no, I think at this point, man, a lot of guys are are trying not to get taken advantage of. I think in society nowadays, man, people pushed it too far because, back in the days, like I know on Conrad's channel, we was talking about courting. So men have no issue of paying for dates. But, when people are like, oh, you need to spend this amount on a date, you need to do this and this. So it just becomes so one-sided now where I think a lot of guys are just like, man, you know what, man, fuck that. Because deep down inside, I think everybody knows the dynamic. Like if somebody truly likes you, man, they go on a walk on the park. They'll do some like low cost type of activities with you. So I think like when women do start talking like this, because I think she was talking about like, hey, make sure he's more into you so you can sit back. So already she talked about like being lazy and shit. So that's why I always kind of tell guys, man, and that's why I always big on pushback as far as provision. Like, I think if a female earns it, man, she stays at the house. I have no issue with that because I think it's kind of commendable. Guys are willing to do that and take the brunt of it. But I just hate when people try to push that as like, this is what you need to do to be masculine. And when I'm trying to tell guys about this dynamic, it's not about the men because it's just like, hey, you guys are trying to do the right thing, but when they're coming there dictating stuff like you need to do this to be masculine or I want to do this, your job is to make me live that soft life. I'm like, man, that's just, you're taking advantage of somebody. So that's why I always kind of give it pushback. Some guys don't grasp it, but it's just like, hey, man, this is the dynamic. They're literally coming out now and talking about what they want and how they're dictating shit. It's just like she's talking, and it's more and more. So a lot of people hit me up. They're like, man, now I see what you're saying. Like, I was like, don't believe me. Shit, listen to what they say and how they describe in these dynamics and just how they kind of speak about even the guys when they get in this situation. The guys, doing the right thing, putting them in that situation, they still talk down to them. And I think this is what's going to play out in this clip because, what's her name? Molly. And I know we did a breakdown with her before. She kind of just starts talking and stuff. And it's just like, see, this is the mindset of these type of women that these dudes be giving this provision to. It's just like, God damn, like, y'all might as well just go and throw y'all money in a fucking strip club. You'd be better off. You get better off results.
Right.
Yeah, we could jump in there. I just wanted to ask you about that because I know we had talked about that. Who you think the dynamic? So yeah, I'm with you. Women definitely need to like the guy a little bit more.
I'm gonna give like just one last. I want you to say this one last story. I'll make it short. So last night I went to my lady's house. At first, like I was a little tired. I just wanted to just kind of chill, but
pussy. No, I'm joking.
but she made an offer that
talk about he's tired. You better stop, man, acting old over here. You better come over there ready, stretched out, Nike jumpsuit on.
Bro,
you got rep for mankind. Don't be out here acting old like that.
Bro, like look, man, it's easy said and done. Like until you start like clapping like a Latina's cheeks, and then you bust one and she went able like for like round 2, 3, 4, and 5.
You get one round, goddamn it. I'm old. So I'm with you on that. You talk about some
yeah.
Like baby girl, you better do like Tracy Ross and get one of these young motherfuckers. You gonna go all these rounds.
Right, for real. But I just spent some time with her. Like she was like, hey, like come over. Hey, I'll do your laundry, and I'll cook you a meal. Like, all right, cool. Like what guy will turn that down anyway? So Conrad laughing his ass off, right? But the point is that like, see, when women are really into you, they don't mind doing some of the things that they'll invest into you. And they're going to let you know and they're going to show it to you that, look, they really value your time. But anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and we're going to get to the video.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But he has to like you more for it to work. If you want me to elaborate further, I will. But just sit back. Relax. Don't text. Don't call. Don't do nothing no more than what he do. Follow the pattern. Soon as you stop following
she can't
the
even
pattern,
talk right.
fuck.
All right, so
This
Quinn, we're not gonna come to you first because the men we were arguing about.
Hold on, that was you, Drake, that said she can't talk right, or that was somebody in the panel?
No, that was somebody on a video. I think it was Quentin.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, Drake, you already going hard.
No,
He
that
said,
was
I like
Quentin.
the real hairline. Had them perms, dumbass. Damn. Comrade going in. But yeah, let's go ahead, man, and continue.
Fighting gorillas. So I want to give the ladies an opportunity to be able to elaborate on what they think. So I'm gonna just go straight off of what I see. We're gonna go Mika, Molly, Carrie, and then we're gonna get the guys in there. My beautiful Mika. What do you think about that?
I don't know the pattern she's talking about, but I definitely think she's wrong. I understand what she's saying. I definitely do. But if I don't like him like that, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not listening. I'm not doing any of that. I understand what she's saying, but I think a lot of women who want to keep themselves from being vulnerable and quote unquote not getting hurt, I think they do that more. So I understand what she's saying, but it's definitely not something I would do.
Molly?
Hold on, hit pause real quick.
Oh, we know how this about to go.
Oh shit. Here we go.
Quentin already know.
I agree with.
No, I was gonna say, so the one that just was talking, I think it was Micah, whatever the hell. And I like how she responded on that, because I never understood, like, a lot of females. It's like, if you don't like somebody and you an attractor, I get it, man. You might want a free meal. You're broke as shit. Pockets is hurting, but just think about it as men, man, because they have a lot of options. They got a lot of dudes getting at them. So it's just like, I want to be entertaining, putting ourselves in their shoes. People that I didn't really like that. You got to be a degenerate motherfucker just to go out and be wasting people's time and shit. So that's where I never got that whole concept, like where you could just be out with people that was good, Bolo. But that you could just go out there and waste people's resources, time, and just like literally use people like that. So yeah, I never understood that whole mindset. It's crazy when you think about it, because it's like, man, they're not lacking for suitors. So to even go out there, like the lady in the video, she's trying to like teach people to go use guys, then that's a crazy dynamic.
Right. And guys, man, they're getting they're getting wiser and wiser, man. They're getting tired of that. Look, man, most of these dudes, like we've all probably went through those experiences where you dealt with an individual, you could just tell like that person's just like a straight user. Whether it be like a woman or a man or whatever, you just know, man, that person ain't no good. And especially if you go on dates with some of these like these people, and all they do is just like take, and they'll never give. That stuff is like a turnoff, a huge turnoff for me. I'll say even like with some of the women that I dated, some of them was pretty cool. They had good personalities and all that, but anytime I feel like, hey, like you don't want to contribute or you don't have anything else to really like, offer, man, I'm just on to the next. Stan says dating food is a real thing. It's not dating anymore, it's feeding.
Yeah, Stan, we're gonna have to break that down. Stan mentioned that a couple times. So yeah, that's what it's looking like. What they call them, foodies and stuff. So.
Yeah, where like, you got that foodie call and be like, hey, like, let's go out to dinner. But see, here's the thing, right? Let's just say you're with someone who's a user, and that woman is hitting you up for a foodie call. Now, I know most men feel like, they got to pay for all these dates because, they've been hardwired on YouTube by, certain pillars, and they'll tell you that all men need to pay. Men need to pay all the time. But for me, if you're going to invite me out, I'm going to be like, all right, cool. Like, you treat me out or something? Because I'm down for some food out of your expense.
But see, my thing is, man, like, you know, I crack a lot of jokes and stuff, but even then, man, I'm not trying to take advantage of anybody. So I would be like, man, nah, let's just go chill. Like, you know, if somebody was offering, I'm like, man, nah, this, you know, I ain't trying to have you spend your money either. And I think that's what we're just missing in this day and age, man, where I think like a lot of people's mindset is just like, damn, what can I get out of this situation? I want this cat to spend like 200 to 300 versus like, man, being just genuine and having some concern of somebody else's expenses. Like, nah, man, I don't want them to spend that type of money. Cause I remember when like me and my wife was going out and kicking it, man, you know, we thought motherfucking Applebee's was like a 5-star restaurant. You know, she was, you know, she was just all concerned about like, man, we ain't got to go do that. Let's just go and man, let's kick it over here. You know, let's go walk, you know, by the waterfront or some shit like that. You know, that was like cheap. So
okay, so she was having you spend some money. He was about to like just break some bread, huh?
No, she was talking about cheap places. She was just like, listen, let's not
I was talking about you, Jerk. Like you was about to like, you know, break a lot of bread at first.
No. I mean, we was gonna go to like the movies and stuff, but even then, she was like, nah, let's not. Yeah, we ain't start going to like nicer restaurants. I'll say till we was like 6 or 7 years in marriage. You know, we hunkered down, man. We was all about sacrificing. So yeah, it's just crazy, like hearing the dynamics, because you know when I be talking about stuff, people be like, man, you've been married too long, man, you out of the game now. I'm like, maybe I am, because I'm hearing these prices and what people, the expectations. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm a dinosaur shit, because you know I was going to we was getting a 2 for $20, and I was looking at my wife's side eye like, hey, you get them chips and salsa with that $10 chicken Alfredo, like like I might have to cut you off. You know, I was on some cheap shit. I had the calculator out, like punching numbers. Like, hey, get the water. The water's free.
Right. Hey, no, I feel you. Yeah, no, you know, sometimes, man, the best dates is like when you're like at your most like frugal state. So like places that I'm like, you know, I don't need to spend like $100 here. I don't need to spend that much. But let's go somewhere like where like it still have good food, but at a much cheaper price, you know, and vice versa as well too. Like, you know, she's spending money. Like, I wouldn't want her to try to take me to like an all-star, like a 5-star restaurant if it's gonna like break bread off from her pockets. Even if she got
you was kind of bougie. You could have her take it. You could be like, take me to Maria's. You could be over there eating octopus tacos and stuff. You could be on that Superfly stuff.
I mean, I know I would be living lavishly, man, but you know, I'm not that type of guy. You know, and I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna share another story because she don't mind that when I talk shit about her, right? We already have
man,
that.
don't be talking about. Don't have me looking at the news talk about a famous YouTuber out here was hogtied in his house.
Right.
with glitter and Diddy oil on.
Oh shit! No Diddy. No Diddy, no doubt. Stan says Olive Garden unlimited bread with salad, unlimited pastas too. Oh, okay. Hey man, I didn't
Stan cheap ass.
Hey, that. I wouldn't mind, man. I'll get $4 off that little bread. But now we supposed to be going somewhere like, you know, for like I think Memorial Day that's supposed to be coming up, and you know, I ain't gonna say like the price for like the hotel that she already got, but you know, I ain't gonna lie, I almost passed out like, you know, the pricing that she paid for, you know, and I was going to say, hey man, like, you know, you might want to like cancel it and do something else. But if that was something that she want to do and she don't like, you know, to stay like in no rinky-dink hotel, but her response was like, you know, like you don't have to pay for it. I'm not expecting for you to pay for it because I did do the plans like, you know, before asking. But if you could just like, you know, just take me out to dinner, even just like for one day, you know, I'll be happy. Now, of course, me, like I ain't gonna take advantage of her like that. Man, whatever you want, like I got you. as long as at an affordable price, that is. But you got to just have that kind of mindset where you're able to, like just contribute and put something down into it. That's all.
No, that's fair, man. And no, it's a good feeling, man. So like when somebody like you, what you explaining, man, it's just
Uncle Fatty. Yeah.
You end up just like taking care of each other. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the dynamic you should strive for, but yeah, a lot of times people are pushing that dynamic. Cause I know I was telling you and Stan and them, like the dude that cuts my hair, we were talking about courting and dating and stuff. And it was what Conrad's show. And, he was asking me about courting and stuff. And I was breaking it down to him. I was like, hey man, you should be going out to like a low cost, kind of boring event, like a cup of coffee, whatever, man, something of that magnitude. And he was like, nah, man, I don't know if I could do that. I gotta have fun and stuff. And I was just breaking it down to him. I was like, man, that's kind of dangerous. Cause I think when people go out and have, too much fun on a, first initial dates, they confuse that emotion of like having fun with, that person, that they're a good person because, they're looking at it like, man, I had such a great time with that person. I'm like, man, no shit. Yeah, I went to like Six Flags and stuff. So you was just in a fun environment. So, they're mixing it up on that person where it's just like, they're looking at that person like, damn, it's exciting, they're fun. So I'm like, nah, you need to sit down and be in a quiet environment where you can actually like talk and, seeing if you even properly align with that person. But, people are just doing stuff so out of order, man. And that's the issue. People just coming for the pockets off the jump.
No, I hear you.
But yeah, we can jump back into it. Just wanted to kind of, so she answered correctly. I like how she responded. But yeah, they getting the Molly. This is where shit goes left, y'all.
Okay.
I told y'all, man, whenever y'all got a light-skinned chick named after a party drug, man, y'all know what it is. She's gonna say some left off the wall shit. So yeah, her name's Molly. So y'all just keep that in mind when she's talking.
Who names a goddamn woman Molly? But anyways, Professor drinking got on here. Let's go to a barbershop. Yeah, all right. So
Uncle Fatty, I thought we was boys, man. Why you doing me like that, though?
You're on the bus, man. That's not right. But yeah, let's go ahead. We're gonna play the video and salute to Indigenous Black men. Salute to you as always.
The lady in the video, obviously. I would never catch a bullet for a man, so by default, he's gonna like me more. But I just feel like a man will know if you like him.
What's
I don't
good,
feel like
Dave?
you have to do a whole lot. So I agree with her. Like, you don't have to blow his phone up. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what to say.
Let me ask you a question.
You know exactly what to say. You just don't want to say it.
Let me ask you a question, Molly.
That's fact.
Do you think that it's difficult for a man to tell whether or not a woman likes him if she does not, in some way, shape, or form, kind of leads with, you know what I'm saying, her whole sentiment of, hey, I like you, or, you know what I'm saying, she got to kind of put that out there, especially in today's climate? Or do you think that a man has to be a lot more aggressive inside of the initial parts of the relationship?
I think the man should be more aggressive in the beginning. I feel like, I think people think not liking a man more than he likes you means that you don't like him. I think that as a woman, I understand that men and women love completely differently. So for me trying to like him more, it's not gonna work. Like, the dynamic is gonna be off. I feel like I can still make you feel secure in the fact that I like you without liking you more. I would never take a bullet for a man. None of that. Like, none of that. So I don't know. And I don't know too many women. I mean, I'm sure there are some women who would catch a bullet or stand in front of a train or something for their man, but most women would not. So I think we gotta be realistic.
What is this bullet?
I think most men like their women more.
What?
All right, Carrie, let me get your thoughts.
Y'all
Carrie.
be willing to die for y'all women.
That's loyal, nigga. That ain't like.
I think that this whole topic of like
Go get all the hats on.
like him,
2K. Yep.
like him more than he likes you. He should like. I think it's kind of stupid. I think what she's implying is if a man likes you more, then he will really show interest. He will pursue you. He will make it about you. He will, and I really don't like. I don't think that. I wouldn't want a man to be all like that on me all the time anyway. Like, I think that women might think they want that, but I think that over time they would start to view that in a negative way. And I think it's the same way with finding a woman who likes you more. A man who is just, because she said you could sit back. I think she said you could sit back. You won't have to do anything. He'll just, I didn't hear what she said. Like, he'll just be there or he'll be on. I didn't hear the rest, but it seemed like she was saying he'll be all on you. Like, he'll be around you. It'll be about you. It'll be effortless. And I think that's why are you making that sound? That's not what she was saying.
Sorry, I thought I was on mute. My bad.
That wasn't what she was saying.
No, this is your opinion.
This is your opinion, Carrie.
Oh. So I mean, I think that the reason that she was given, it sounds good, but I don't really think that a woman would want that all of the time. And I don't really understand, how would you even measure who likes who more? Like, shouldn't you want to be with somebody who, I like you, you like me, you show it in your way, I show it in my way? I never understood this whole.
Yes.
But how do you know
I don't get
that?
how you met.
Yeah, that's why I like she brought out the point where, you know, the females that's like, hey, I want the guy to like solely be focused on me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of like some mental stuff going on, because it's just like, man, yeah, that would be a weird dynamic where you want somebody just tucked under you all the time. You know, that's pretty unhealthy. You know, because it's just like, how can that person, you know, be out there achieving and stuff? Because I think, man, you know, a healthy couple's gonna, you know, put the household kind of first, where it's just like, hey, man, what do we need to do? Let's, you know, for like example, me and my wife, we're big on generational wealth and leaving a legacy. So it's like, we don't have time to be just sitting under each other, because, you know, it's just like we got a plan and we're trying to make sure that we hit our benchmarks, the finish line and stuff like that. So yeah, just sitting around each other where it's like one of us could take our foot off the gas. We're like, nah, man, you know. So I don't think a lot of females that say that, like the lady that was breaking it down in the video clip, is like, yeah, I'll sit back and do this. It's almost like you're derailing that person from, I'll say, success at a certain point. So yeah, I don't think they sit down with their thoughts and map it out. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, I want that ambitious guy, but I kind of want him under me and I don't want him working a lot and all that. And it's just like, it's a kind of a contradiction, because it's just like, how the hell is he going to be putting that work in if being ambitious if you want him tucked under you all the time, you know, for some like control type thing?
Yeah, it never really makes sense to me. And honestly, like, it's just a sense of like ideal worship, you know? I feel like anytime I hear women who solely focus on their man and putting them first, but then you want your man to be successful, it's like you gotta kind of ask yourself, like, hey, like what really matters to me more? A broke bum that's underneath my wing, or someone who's highly successful but doesn't have that much time for me? And eventually, like, you will find like a balance, but initially you have to be able to like make a couple sacrifices, or you have to be kind of realistic, like in your choices of what you want. It sounds to me like when women be talking like this, like a lot of them sound like really insecure. And you know, I question us like, okay, well, what are you going to do if you find a man that was meeting your requirements?
I think the issue with ones that talk. That's why I said it's like some mental stuff because, like I said, they typically want the ambitious guy to even be in that state. That's what's got to happen. Like he's got to have some bread to put him in there, what they call it, the soft girl or whatever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's like tunked under them because they're like, hey, I want you around, and then I think the end of the cycle is like, now I'm tired that this dude's around me all the time. So it's almost like they create this cycle of shit that they get irritated and they end up leaving because of that. So that's why it's just like I think men, it's just like, man, that's what people always say. You focus on your purpose, and it should be based on like I said, for mine, it's based on like my family. So it's a selfless like goal. So nobody's going to pull me from that. So I think that's where men slip up, is because they go in that entertainment mode for that female that's not aligned with that purpose. So she's pulling them off from, like I'll say, they're moving up and stuff. So that's the paradigm that they kind of lock themselves in, because they're looking at you like, damn, this dude's around all the time. He ain't got no goals. He's as easily maneuvered by whatever I want and stuff. So they get irritated by the line, because say maybe you're not moving up as fast now, you're kind of stagnant because you done took your foot off the brakes to entertain them. So now they're looking at you like, this motherfucker ain't ambitious. So yeah, it's weird, man, like I said. But yeah, we could get back to it, because I just wanted, I like what she was kind of breaking down the mindset and stuff. So
yeah, and Grateful, we're going to definitely get into Myron's half too, so it's gonna be funny.
We're gonna have to drop the link. Grey Pill gonna cook them.
Right.
Measure that. Like, why? I just kind of look at it as like, are you interested or not? Like, who's more interested, and how do you even?
It's always psychological. It's always a game, even if people don't want to admit it. It's always a power dynamic. Always, like.
Now I need you. I need you to meet in love.
It just is. It just is. I know people don't like hearing it because we've been brainwashed by Disney. But come on.
I don't. But
men like when you pull back a little bit. They like when you're a little mean. They like when you they don't kind of know where they stand. They just do. Y'all just like that.
How the fuck you don't?
Maybe not to where it's like.
But even if okay, so let's just say that were true, Molly. Let's say that were true. But what you're describing to me sounds more like a strategy and not like the woman genuinely doesn't like him. To me, if you're willing to do all of that, you probably really do like him. Because why, if you don't like him, would you do all of that?
No, a lot of women are like that. They will do this whole strategy game, and some of them. It's like that's why they made that movie too, could play that game, because that's how most of them think.
Right, but that's my point. If you're gonna do that, you like him.
Yeah, I did not say that liking him less.
So women just out here playing games. That's why y'all motherfuckers.
They do, because they're afraid of being vulnerable.
I'm never gonna be a man's provider. It's just certain things I'm not willing to do.
Okay, Molly, wake up. Okay, first of all,
what are you talking about?
The woman has to like you more. Okay, first of all, when we first started.
Sorry, I'm gonna pause this real quick.
No, go ahead.
Shout out to Carrie for trying to talk some sense into the two lighter skinned chicks.
The one on the top is actually the one she squared away, man. She's like, nah, she don't. Carrie was getting a little confused toward the end because she was just like, well, you must really like him if you're playing these games, and Carrie don't understand that. Like a person with a toxic mindset don't mind wasting their time. They don't mind wasting somebody else's time. So that's why they play that game, because it's just like they ain't got shit else better to do. It's not like they're doing anything productive. They trying to advance themselves in life for a higher purpose. So it's just like, man, they got time to waste. So they want somebody to waste it with them. So that's why they play that game. So the one girl, Micah's like, that's not really you like somebody if you're willing to do all this stuff, and you're talking about a power dynamic. So that's what Molly was talking about, that power dynamic and stuff.
Okay, oh my bad. I'm getting
no, you good. Because at first she was on point, but then she kind of twisted it up. But she's still like confused about it, because she's like, why would you play all these games? So
I ain't gonna lie, it is confusing. Like for some people, if you don't really understand, certain women or certain whatever, and you playing all these games, it's like you're not just wasting God's time, you wasting your own valuable time as well too. I mean, I guess, but if you're like one of those like ain't type of women, then I get it. Go ahead and play on if you can find the right dude. Excuse me, and have all this time to like allow you to to play them like that. But for me, it's like, look, man, it's either you like me or not, and if you don't like me, okay, I'll keep it moving. If you do, let's make something happen.
That's you got self-esteem, and that's really what's Molly's like. And this is a sad thing where I try to tell guys, man, don't get a female that she has to like you. I get it, man. You might see the hot chick and you're gonna throw out your wallet, you're gonna throw some bread at her. Man, it don't never work out, because what Molly's kind of showing is like, if a female don't like you, she's eventually gonna kind of embarrass you. It's gonna come out in conversations. See, most females don't jump on panels and stuff, but when they talking to their friends and stuff, man, the way that they speak about you is not in a good light. So that's why, like, Molly's talk about a power dynamic. She's like, nah, you do this and the guy would chase you and do that. So what she's kind of mentioning is the dude that she's with was infatuated, because she's a cute chick. So he was infatuated by the beauty. He's probably the prettiest girl he ever been with. So that's what she's kind of relating in her mind. But see, a smart motherfucker would be on a panel like embarrassing a man like that and explaining that dynamic and putting them at a deficit. So that's what I'm saying. When they don't like you, really, and they don't have that desire, it just comes out naturally. So she's not trying to do it on purpose, but she's like, hey, this is how the dynamic is. And it's kind of sad, because that's what she's going to start breaking it down when we get back in there. But that's what Carrie and them trying to figure out, like, why would you be aligned with this? Okay, they're like, you're married and you should like the person. So they kind of confused. Well, the girl on the top, Micah, she knows what's up. See, Carrie's a little confused.
Okay, got it. All right. Let's go ahead and continue.
Started talking to you, we really didn't like you at all. All right, but we got the ability to go along with it until we grow into liking you. If you don't like me, do you know what you would do for me? Not shit. You won't wash the dishes. You won't shut up. You won't respect me. So therefore,
who said that I don't like you just because I don't like you more? I'm the prize. Why would I like you more?
Have to like
you're the
hit pause.
What the fuck?
We don't have to like.
Try to tell you, she hit it with the I'm the prize. She said, "Hey, I am the table." That's what.
God damn. So yeah, so she's all right, she's a table, all right, I guess. The table with nothing on top to offer.
But and you know, the thing is, like, she got her guy. So that's what I'm saying. So like dudes with low self-esteem, man, that's what they create a lot of entitlement. So as much shit as guys talk, sometimes we contribute to this bad behavior. So it's like we can't resolve ourselves, because you got them dudes that will go and she's the best looking thing. They'll ignore the chicks that would like treat them good, and they'll get it with a Molly. Molly be up here like, nope, he like me. I'm the prize. He need to make me happy. So yeah, she sure did drop it though. But yeah, we gotta get back to her. She gonna say some.
Oh, so some more egregious stuff. All right.
Yeah.
You said it, nigga. No,
we don't have to like all for us to get horny and fuck you. You have to like us to get with you.
It's women who sleep with men every day that they don't care about.
Listen, them hoes wired a little different. But for the average woman, you have to like a man more.
Like a man more is what that woman did, who ironed her husband.
I think we need to address the fact that Molly said she's
that's
the prize.
Liking a man more. I could not see myself. I would not ever encourage a woman to ever put herself in that type of position, because that's what liking a man more looks like to me.
What does liking a man more look like?
Ironing his clothes so he can go see his side bae.
That's bare minimum. What the fuck is you talking about?
What are you talking
about? I think liking a man more, it definitely is not that. That's but I think you have
how
to.
Would you know?
But it's like
how
I said, you have
that?
to. How else is that going to work? How else is that
How
gonna
would
work?
you
Because
know?
he can like you, but if you don't like him, you're not gonna respect him. I'm gonna tell you that
But
right
it
now.
doesn't mean that I don't like him. I just don't like him more
No,
than
you
he
have to
likes
like. You know
me.
why you have to like him more?
I
Because
can like him.
I guarantee
This
you.
goes
I
back to what I
guarantee you.
said fucking Tuesday. Women are stupid as fuck.
This is so weird. Like,
Shout out
how
to
would you
Quick.
know who likes who more? I don't
You have to
understand
like
how
me
y'all
just
would
this
measure
much,
that.
and then you can't like me this much because
Wait,
you're
wait,
really
wait,
Because
wait,
he's
wait, wait,
always
wait.
gonna
Hold
do
on,
more
hold
for
on.
me than I'm gonna do for
Hold
him.
on. Do y'all think that it's a little disingenuous in being able to identify who's the person that's more obsessed with when you in it? Not saying from the outside looking in, but I'm saying that when you're in the relationship or when you're in a situationship or whatever it is, that there is a clear person that probably is a little bit more aggressive inside of the relationship. Y'all don't think that that's
Yeah.
a thing?
You can
Yeah,
tell
there's
me.
always
It's
somebody.
very obvious. It's very
Right.
obvious.
So with that being said, which I mean, y'all can disagree with Molly. I haven't stated my position at all, or whatever, right? But so with that being said, there's always going to be somebody that likes somebody more, or somebody that makes the first move, or whatever, right? Or makes a consistent effort more than the other person. Who has to be the one that is it the man or the woman that should be the person that is more liking the other person, or at least outwardly expressing it, that
It's
then would let the
situational.
relationship let the
situational.
relationship actually okay. In what way? You didn't.
Like if you just date like you normal, I'm normal, we need each other type of shit, that looks a little different. But if I'm that nigga and you just another fucking box,
That's not a relationship though. That's a
But are y'all
situation.
talking about in the relationship?
Well, I'm
or
even
you
talking about
when
going
you
forward,
meet?
nigga. Like I'm
I'm talking
nigga, I'm
about
the dude. You want what
a
I
little
got?
bit of
I-
both, Carrie.
Okay, so more aggressive or being maybe you show I don't know interest more than the other person means that we're saying like that means they like them more. I'm just
Not
trying to understand
necessarily.
how are
I
y'all
mean,
measuring the like.
I don't think it's anything that you can tangibly measure. I just think that it's
I
just
think
So then
you
how do
can. I think you
then
can but it's just it shows differently, right? Because men are more action based,
facts.
like, and then us as women, we deal more in the psychological. So you're going to see certain things differently than you would from a man. But if a man likes you, they'll do things that they normally would not do because you can see it in their actions. They didn't date 5 other girls and they haven't done any of that.
But Mika, you just said if a man likes you, I get the if somebody likes you, but we're talking about if one likes the other one more, and what you just said is even more the reason why I don't understand how you can measure it, because the way that a man is going to show how he likes his woman is going to look different than how she shows him how she likes him. So how are we measuring?
Right. Well, no.
like
The
is
question was,
more?
I get what you're saying, but the question was,
Very
how can you
confused as
see?
shit.
Like, how are you measuring that? How are you measuring if somebody, if
I'm
he?
saying my question is how can we really measure who likes who more? Like that's why I said I think this.
I just think that you can just inherently tell.
Silly.
You
I
can
don't.
definitely intangible.
You can tell. Like I can
You
tell.
don't realize that somebody is calling you all the time. You don't realize that.
Okay,
I get what hold on. I get what
You
she's
can realize
saying,
who's initiating things. Like
I get what
who's
she's saying.
initiating.
But
Who said, "Hey,
but
hey, when we
Hit
gonna hang
pause
out?
real quick.
Hey, when we gonna do
that's why
this?
I asked.
Hey,
But
when we
Slimmy,
gonna do that?"
Slimmy, that's why I asked.
Do you think you could spot like who likes the person more as far as like what she's asking? I know you can't. It's not like we got a device you could measure this shit, but do you think you can spot? I think you're on mute.
I mean, yeah, like dude, like I could tell, like, like who puts like more effort into these type of relationships, like spot on. It's based off of, like, your actions. I mean, a lot of people say whatever they want to say, but when it comes to like actually like putting the work into it, that's how I could tell, like, hey man, like this person really does have that genuine like interest in that. So the person, what's it called, Molly, the name after a pill. Yeah, she got her man or whatever, but how's the relationship dynamic outside of like the live stream? Because obviously, man, you with somebody, right, that you clearly, I can't say you don't see a future with, but you must be breaking like a lot of bread. I can't be with a woman who feels like, she's feels that I'm lesser than. That's how I will take it as. Oh, you don't like me more? You don't like me like equally the same? We gonna go with the equality aspects. But other than that, man, it's just that's how I kind of look at it.
Yeah, I think her relationship, obviously she got married and stuff. So, Quentin, he had a good point where he was talking about it's situational because people do like different things. So I think in her case and the guy's like like I said, he's factuated. Her issue is just the embarrassing him on panels and shit. That's where she probably gotta like clean up because the way she communicated, you could just tell like who's kind of the leader in that situation. So that's why I'm saying like when females like her talk, man, they expose like that the dynamic and stuff. And I don't think she's intentionally trying to do it. It's just like this is deep embedded in her who she is and stuff. So yeah, I think in this case, I think, man, if a female's rocking into you, man, and she's willing, kind of like this when you was telling the story, you're like, hey, man, look, she got the hotel room, man. She invited me. She was just like, look, I did this for us. So when a female's kind of acting like that, and she's willing to like, even in my story where I was like, man, she's got a concern for you not overspending and like, hey, we ain't gotta go to these lavish spots, man. I just really want to kick it with you. I think that's when you could kind of tell like a female's really into you, and she might be, into you a little bit more. Like I said, where it's over that self-centeredness and that greed mark. So I think that's ways you could spot it when she's kind of willing to like. It's almost like she's like looking out for you versus like, what can I gain from this person? So I think when you could spot how they acting like that, that's when you could tell that that person actually is into you. They have that attraction to you. They're not just there to suck you dry.
Simplest way, Jerk. You don't even have to ask a woman to do something for you. A lot of times women will offer or they just give. I mean, before I left, left work to go home, let's just say one of my female friends, I don't stand on like the term friends or whatever, but
saying about to pop up, you better stop.
But this woman, like, she purchased something from a restaurant and she gave it to me. I didn't ask her for it, but she offered, food and just handed it to me like here. Now you have like breakfast or lunch or whatever, 2 times. Cool. Or you have some people that says, hey, I would like to come to your house. We don't have to go out, but I'll cook for you in addition. All you have to do is just wash the dishes. Plain, period. And it's just something that's just so simple. And that's how this is the type of person that's really into you. Because not only she's initiating ideas to spend time with each other, but she's also willing to do more and beyond.
Yeah, like you said, man, it's simple, man. And it, like you said, just I think if women just understood it, it's like, man, they got way more to gain. Because, man, men, I think naturally, man, we're just selfless. So it's almost like we were talking about on the other show. I was like, look, if a female would invest in a guy a little bit more up front, man, they got way more to gain because a guy's gonna go above and beyond. Be like, damn, I got me a good one. You know what, man? I'm about to go out here. I'm about to slay the world. And, it's like if he wins, you gonna win naturally because that's just how we're built. So like when they got that kind of self-centered nature and then they like you said, either they burn a guy out because they got him just like a workhorse or he ends up, kind of leaving and stuff because he just understands the dynamic in her mindset. It's just like, that's why a lot of them are in that state now that you were talking about earlier, where it's just like, man, they kind of single, they can't get nobody, people are avoiding them and stuff. So like you said, if they just naturally came, like you said, the woman, she got you something at the restaurant, then it's just like, man, we have that appreciation and gratitude. Like, damn, she's different. Let me go reciprocate and make sure I'm not taking advantage and I get something for her nice. So it's just, man, that's how that cycle starts, and they just can't grasp it. They like, nah, I gotta gain, and it burns people out. That's why a lot of guys are just like, man, I'm tired of this shit. Damn that. Dudes are catching flights just to get that appreciation and gratitude. So I'm glad you pointed that out. Indigenous funny as hell. We get back in the video because I think they can jump a little bit more, and I know eventually you want to get into the Myron, but we'll let this play out a little bit more.
Okay, yeah. Just let me know when you want me to stop.
So are we talking about in the beginning when two people meet, who's pursuing who more, who's showing more interest, or are we talking about relationship? And Anton said both.
Continuously.
Okay, so
I think it should even out as you get away from the beginning.
That's not, if you're in a relationship.
No,
I get if you meet. If you meet somebody, it's like who's pursuing who's showing more interest. I get that, but once you're in a relationship, you're still saying that.
No, it's still always like that.
So look, this is
the other.
This is how it has to go. This is how it has to go. A woman has to like a man more because her love is conditional. Her love is based on what he can do for her, how the lifestyle that he gives her, what he's going to do, how far he's willing to go for her. Because if he stops, her love stops, and she's already pursuing someone else.
Unless she
truly adores you.
Unless she truly adored him before.
But that'll be her liking you more.
So that's why she has to like you more.
How is that her liking him more? Why isn't that just her adoring him?
Because a man's love is unconditional. Once a man decides on you,
because we're not wired that way. So there would be no woman that adores you absolutely so much that you can just sit on your ass. Like there is no woman
that's true.
Right? Because it doesn't matter how much I love you, I want to be with you. Like we're not wired that way. But I do understand if I do like you a lot and I want to be with you, I will give you leeway to do things that a normal man would not get. That's different.
Okay, I'm not stuck on any of.
Hit pause real quick.
What I'm
M3
saying is, Slimmy, even with what you said, why can't it?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Micah, she's kind of smart. So she got the dynamic. I like how she broke it down because she was saying, she's like, yeah, we ain't gonna let you be no stay-at-home husband. That shit ain't happening. But she was like, if we like you, there's a lot of tolerance that comes with that. Like when we like you and stuff. And I think that's facts. So I think that's the difference. See, Molly ain't got no tolerance. That motherfucker lose his job. It's a wrap. Molly could be like, look, I'm going to the club. You know what time it is. Peace. Where Micah, she like the dude that, they got some tolerance. They gonna work with you.
Right. Okay, yeah. Now and that makes sense. The way how she's like breaking it down. So
yeah, she gets the dynamic. She understands. Because I think in her mind, she ain't looking to like use nobody. She's actually looking for like a actual relationship where she works with the individual. Molly's like, I'm cashing out. Damn that. And Carrie seemed like she's like that too, but Carrie just might be a little slow with this.
Yeah.
Carrie like, look, I'm trying to keep up, man. How we measure this shit? Like, Carrie, there ain't no machine, man. Get that out your mind. She's just stuck on the measuring the whole like part. So they try and get her right. Yeah, she'll
catch up. Just send this link to her, man, so she can catch the replay and she'll learn.
Shout out to Uncle Fatty. I was looking at his comment, man. He said his dad was doing them dishes one night and he got stuck with him for 50 years.
Oh man.
Said he got bamboozled, Fatty.
Fatty's like, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and continue.
Just be the case that the woman adores him. How does that therefore mean that she likes him more than he likes her?
I was about to explain. Because a man's love is unconditional. Once a man chooses you, he's going to put his life on the line for you. We're not
Mhm.
asking
Okay.
women to do that. So
So-
you
so
need
then-
so you have to have this woman be more engaged than you actually are.
But so now you're saying
Because-
be more engaged. Like y'all, you keep changing the word.
Don't do the
So-
semantics thing. Don't.
I'm not,
Maybe-
no,
maybe he
I'm
misspoke.
not-
Don't do
I'm,
that.
No, I'm going to talk how I talk and understand.
I'm your
trying
counsel
to
right now,
understand-
Slimmy. I got you.
I'm-
I'll run
I'm
interference
trying-
on
I'm,
this.
I'm just trying to understand because from where I'm sitting, it just doesn't make sense. So
What?
why is it shocking? Like everything you say might not make sense to another human. So I'm
Why are you
trying
mad,
to talk
Carrie?
it out.
Why are you yelling? Why's your voice going up
trying-
octaves?
Am I yelling? I'm not trying to yell.
Yep.
Carrie,
Why you
girl,
doing
just
that?
go ahead and say
Um,
what you're gonna say. Let's get out, Carrie.
No,
I'm
but
kidding, Carrie.
we're talking about like, but then in all of the examples, you give different wording, like adore, like the word you just said. We keep adding all of these different words. So
They're synonyms.
Yeah,
do
It's fine.
those do the
So when go ahead, finish.
so for
finish.
instance, you saying that a
Poor
woman
Carrie.
loves conditionally and a man loves unconditionally, to me would imply that the man actually loves her more than she loves him. And so you're saying because of that, she needs to like him more
Let me-
than he
I'll explain
likes
it.
her
I'll
because
explain it.
he
Hold on,
loves
let me
her
explain it like this,
unconditionally and
So,
she
no,
only loves
let me-
him
let me
based
give
off
you a
of what
little
he provides.
Balance.
Hold on.
Balance.
So let me explain it to you like this. Let me explain it to you like this, Carrie. I think where you're getting caught up is that you think that our love is expressed the same. So when
No, I don't.
So when
That
Slimmy
was-
says, loves unconditionally, for example, what we a lot of times how we communicate we love you is what we do for you, or how we
Action.
take care of you, right? And so a lot of times it is an action that we're doing to show you. It may not be outwardly expressed, but it is an action, right? Whereas a woman, a lot of times, what we look for in return is acknowledgement. We look for appreciation. We look for peace. We look for sex. We look for the intangibles. We look for the things that you guys can do that can make us or can empower us to continue to feel some type of way that would then lead to that action that we're doing that shows you that we love you, right? So when you're talking about adoring, that's a completely different thing than us saying providing. So we getting caught up on the semantics a lot of times of how men love women versus how men show that they love women versus how they show that they love men. But I personally believe, similar to what Slimmy was just saying, that it is important for a woman to outwardly show that she likes a man more than for a man to outwardly show that he likes her more in order for the relationship to continue to be very, very high value and high, you know what I'm saying, for it to be very, very productive. I don't know if that
Well,
helps.
you're the last part is helpful. The context of the last part. You think that a woman should outwardly show it more than a
Facts.
man outwardly shows it because
100%.
the way that you guys would take that, because the way that you all would receive that would have, let me hold on, let me back up. The way that you guys would receive it would help you all to know that we genuinely like you, appreciate you, you know, X, Y, and Z.
Facts.
So
Because
I get
a man chasing a woman around is I don't want to say it's weak, but it's not reinforcing. You know,
No,
because when you chase, what you chase can run away.
But men
No,
are the hunters.
No. And the reason that I disagree with you
Hold
on
on,
that a
press
little bit,
pause.
Q Diddy, I think that the women are more of the hunters because I think that
Oh, he said the women are more than hunters. I almost kind of believe on that.
So what do you think about what Slimmy was saying? Do you think that's weak for men to kind of chase like he's kind of painting it?
Well, kind of, right? But see, it depends like on the situation. So, you know, I believe like you know, men should like, you know, make the move and try to be in a pursuit, but not for too long. And when I mean the pursuit, I'm not even talking about like, you know, like chopping up with her for like hella like months or like years until she finally gives in and accept your weak ass. But I'm more talking about a time frame where it's like, okay, you put yourself out there. You came at her authentic. You lay it down on her. Be like, okay, this is what it is. This is who I am. And see if she'll accept it. If she don't accept it, man, you got to move on. But a lot of guys know the concept of just like moving on once they get rejected. So they keep trying to try again because honestly, their egos get bruised. And they try to figure out like, okay, here's the conundrum. Okay, I shot my shot. It failed the first day. Let me try again the second day. It will be successful. And you keep doing this in a repeated cycle. Next thing you know, like, it'd be like a whole, month or so until you finally, like, get the hint that it's like you're not that type of dude for her. So I kind of agree, like, as far as, like, if you over pursuing, you chasing after her, and she told you, like, she don't like you like that, and you keep trying to go after her, it is kind of weak.
Yeah, I agree. Because like you said, definitely, man, you got to approach. Because women just typically ain't doing that. They might throw you some signs or something that they're interested, but man, for the most part, they just don't approach. So yeah, you need to approach, see if they even engaging with you like that. And this, man, you got to read them cues. If they not, then yeah, you like you said, you can't waste your time. Because man, I think guys do try to. I think that's when they end up on, as what Stan be saying, the foodie person, the foodie call. Because it's just like they want to try to conform the chick because they won't get none of the signs. They could tell like she really don't like them, but they try to do the friend zone thing. Like, oh, we could just go and hang out, and then that's when they get stuck in that zone and like you said, playing it out and trying to the person, even if they have some conversations they don't align, they still hope that they change down the line. So yeah, no, it's facts. That's what 100 saying. He grew on me. So yeah, that's where that whole dynamic come from. So yeah, you got to get up out of there quick. They ain't receptive and hitting you back and like, hey, yeah, let's go kick it and stuff. Yeah, they don't like you, and you just got to take that L, man, and keep it pushing. But yeah.
Now I'll say this though, right? There's been a guy who's been pursuing this woman for 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah, for 8 years. And finally she gave in, after maybe 3 or 4 attempts of proposing to her and her saying no. So of course from outside looking in, all these dudes is going to be like, that's what I need to do. I want to get that woman right there. I need to patiently wait and keep chasing it over and over and over and keep doing all these nice things. It may sound pleasant, but here's the thing. If you're not a dude that she was initially attracted to, I mean, she could like encounter like any other dude, right? That she's really physically attracted to. And let's just say like she might be like, like a very unfaithful person, a wife or whatever. But my thing is that like most people think that it's okay for you to do all these things, wait for 8 or 10 plus years, and you'll finally get what you want, your reward. But at what cost? Like, did you really want to do this? Like, before she had kids, or now since she have kids by, multiple dudes or whatever. Now you feel like, okay, now she's at a space where she's vulnerable enough to grow on you. So, but a lot of these dudes, they have that type of mentality, man, and that's how they get themselves messed up. And then it translates to the woman, because the woman will be like, she'll still carry that bad attitude. She'll be 50 years old, and she'll be like, the right guy's going to come to me, and he's going to come along, and he's going to take care of my lifestyle.
Yeah, a man that does that, he ain't got no dignity. And then he's pretty much conceding the fact that he ain't got no options, or he's just scared to like move on and talk to somebody else. So yeah, it ain't no like you finally get the prize. Pretty much you're the consolation prize. It's like, hey, I done went out to life for 8 years. I done dated multiple guys, them shit ain't work up. So you know what? Old Faithful over here, the backup plan. You know, that's what it is. You're the default guy. Like after all the tries, and she done tried every type of guy, like the bad guy, the good guy, the attractive guy, the one semi-attractive. Then she's like, you know what, man, none of this work out. This dummy's still over here. Let me go on. Fuck it. I'll lock in with him because I'm 8 years older. So he's still there throwing money out and waiting. And then that's where you get that dynamic where like Molly's talking. Like she's up there like, he's got to do this. He's got to chase you. He's got to do this. So that's pretty much like the picture they paint. You know, like I said, most people ain't on panels, but when they kicking it with their homegirls, that's the thought that they have of you if you're that type of guy in those dynamics. So it's when you hear it, man, it's hella disrespectful because you're like, damn, that's how they talk about the guy like that? Like he's got to constantly be just running and shit. Forrest Gump out here chasing and stuff. He don't get no downtime. He don't get no praise. You just speak of it like he's just so weak man. So yeah, nah, you don't never want to be in that state.
Yeah.
You better off like 8 years. Just think about, man, that's a damn near a decade. Like, man, lock in, get in the gym, go out there, shoot your shot with other ones. The money you could have saved, like chasing after her, throwing money at her, got your gear together, got a little stylish, man, you would have been all right. You would have got somebody that actually liked you, man. So yeah, I don't understand why guys, man, can't move on, man. Stay attached like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
But hey, we could go ahead and jump to because they kind of killed this whole topic right here. So it looked like they about to close it out. We could jump to that segment if you want to get to the Myron one. If it's
yeah. Let me go ahead and fast forward this because it was cool, but after a while, man, like you know, it got kind of stale a little bit.
Yeah.
Guys, man, like you know,
Molly done do her man under the bus enough. So shit.
Okay. I'm almost there. All right. We'll go ahead and I'm going to play this.
I think that
It ain't no race thing. It's white people that don't have that got single parent homes. What are you talking about, Quentin?
But it's mostly black people. And when the father's not in the home, these women looks different.
I think the thing is that in the black community, we embrace it more. And we pedestalize it more.
Which is
he's talking about on a macro level, Slimmy.
Which is why our women are different. Like all this, like most women and what it looks like when they go out into the world and no?
Say that again.
It molds the women, how they're raised, what their experiences. It looks different.
In what way?
If I get a white girl from the suburbs and I date her, and I get a black chick from the ghetto, it looks different because where they came from.
That's cultural. Okay, so you get a white woman from the suburbs and a black girl from the suburbs. What's the difference? 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 I'm asking you.
I hate arguing with you, bro.
Because you can't. You don't like this because you don't want anyone to make you substantiate your arguments. You can't just say blanket statements.
You're the king of not substantiating your argument,
bro. I just clearly broke down everything, my dude. What are you talking about? I'm asking you what are the differences? You just said a black woman, a white woman in the suburbs, and a black woman in the ghetto. We know there's gonna be differences. So a woman in a trailer park is gonna look the same as a white woman in a trailer park is gonna look the same as a white woman in the suburbs.
Can I comment on this?
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
What's up, Anton? Thanks for having me on, bro. I had to come in and show love because you showed me love, and I don't forget those.
All right, so look, here comes Myron. Let me go ahead. I want to put this on the banner real quick because I want to please be advised that, you know, what you guys are witnessing, okay, is not the viewpoints of knowledge and relationships. For our end, we don't talk about nothing political, clinical, financial, medical, nor legal advice. We just like to have fun and give out the information. Make sure you guys smash the like button, and also make sure you guys drop in the Cash App as well too. But also, please be advised, the opinions, the panelists, guests, chat, and Myron that we're reacting to is definitely not the viewpoints of knowledge and relationships. Remember, he is a goofy, and we don't really support goofies like that. Anyways, we're going to continue. All right. Go ahead, play it.
Was that show support, man?
I
So I figured
appreciate
I'd come in here real quick. So what I'm about to say does not represent any of the members of the panel. So I'm just going to be very honest and blunt about what I'm about to say, because it might be offensive. The reality is most women are retarded, okay? And the reality of things, the reality about this that guys need to understand when I say that most women are retarded is that the software is always the same. The hardware is what's different, whether the skin color, the cultural background, whatever, the hardware is always the same. The software is always the same. The hardware might be different. So the only real difference, right, sometimes is cultural situations, background, the way they grew up, etc., will maybe dictate their mannerisms, the way they behave, and what they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, all women are trying to do the same thing, which is do what? Get the best man that they can get based on their education level, socioeconomic level, where they stand socioeconomically. And that's just kind of how it goes. Now, different races and different cultures obviously go about it in different ways, right? We can look at a lot of Black women. They're attracted to the thug type. They're attracted to men that exude masculine characteristics, though they might be more, reminiscent of like being a criminal, because these are traits that women look for in a lot of situations. Or it could be, the white girl who's looking for a guy who has some money and some status and has some bad boy tendencies, but, has some status alongside it. So every race goes about it in different ways, but the reality is women are all looking for the same type of guy. The way they go about it might be differently, because hypergamy, extends regardless of, what a woman's race is. Just so happens that they go about it in different ways, but the reality is that women are always going to fall to hypergamy.
Do you think that it changes based off of culture or race? So, like, for example,
sure,
what Paul Pierce saying that a lot of NBA players, because see, my opinion of it, when Paul Pierce said that a lot of NBA players or athletes go for white women, I think that a lot of NBA players that I've met has just been goofy. Like, a lot of them are young, a lot of them haven't necessarily lived long enough. A lot of them get resources, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they understand the dynamics of women. A lot of times they just get with women based off of what's available, and a lot of them are at their hotel rooms, or a lot of them at the hotel before they even show up. Do you think that the cultural differences also yield different results when it comes to women? And I'm not even just talking about athletes, I'm talking about great men in general. Do you think that the cultural differences or the race plays a role in whether or not men are attracted to them, or do you just think that it's culture by itself and the type of men that women go after?
I mean, it's such a multitude of different things. Like, if we're going to talk about NBA players, right, for example, just as the first one. So a lot of these guys play college first. When you're in college, a lot of the times you're in a white dominant, situation where you're an athlete, you're Division I athlete. I could say this from experience from being Division I athlete myself. Like, the women are going to just gravitate towards the D1 athletes. And then when you're a basketball player or a football player at a Division I school, you're kind of at the top of the pecking order from a social status perspective. So what ends up happening is, let's say you did come from an inner city, you were the top guy, then you go to a big Division I school, you're not seeing Shaniqua and LaQuisha anymore. You're seeing, Becky and a bunch of other girls from Midwest. So like your thing switches, and men, we like variety. So since men like variety, this is something different that I'm not used to. Oh, I'm going to go with this. And what ends up happening a lot of times is these guys will get a girl in college, and that girl will kind of follow them along. And then, they might have that chick as a woman that was with them when they were playing sports, or they might find a girl once they get into league or whatever. But what I realized is, like, with men, it just comes down to variety. I don't think men care so much about, everyone has their preferences, of course, but I think what men care about the most is, like, is this girl going to be submissive, not be a pain in the ass? Because a lot of times when men make money and they acquire status, they acquire that money and status, and the first thing they do is get rid of problematic women a lot of the times, right? Because you don't make that kind of money and you don't get that level of status and want to come back and deal with a woman that's going to sit there and argue with you. Like, the dumbest thing that women say is like, oh, yeah, you don't want a woman that challenges you? No, you dumb whore. Like, no, thank you. We got to go out and fight the world Last thing I want to do is come back and argue with a woman. And this is one of the biggest misconceptions that women actually push out there, saying, don't you want a woman to challenge you? And this is like propaganda from like the 2000s of Neo saying, I want a woman who wants her own, independent woman, whatever, blah, 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 which we've been indoctrinated to believe these lies. We've been pushing this like whole independent woman thing and a woman that can earn on her own for literally the better part of a couple of decades. And guess what happens? Neo lied to everybody. What is he doing now? He has like 2 or 3 girlfriends that he supports. This whole independent woman thing is a lie. Beyonce, oh yeah, I could find another you in a minute. What's she doing? Jay-Z cheats on her? She's still there. So it's all cap. It's all a lie. So I think it's really important for people to kind of like deprogram from like what's been pushed in, especially in the Black community, when it comes to like, I want a strong independent woman and any of this stuff. That's not what men are looking for. Like, and rest in peace to Kevin Samuels, because he brought this to light more, especially in the Black community, kind of like indoctrinating women, like trying to deprogram women with the indoctrination of like, your career, your status, your title. Men really don't care about these things. And the more money and resources they acquire, the less they care about it. So that's kind of what it comes down to. I think a lot of it comes down to the women are available because of their proximity to, access to women, being a college athlete. They acquire more money and resource, which, is obviously going to put them in position with these women. And then just really what it comes down to is who's available, who's hot, and who's not going to be a pain in the ass. If these things line up, a lot of the times they're going to go with the chick, is what I've realized.
Yeah, I agree with that. What do you think about?
So, I mean, do men want a chick that's a pain in the ass? Obviously not. So he's right on that.
Yeah.
And the proximity thing, I know we covered that. So that's true too. A lot of times, it's just proximity. And I think guys are not as picky. You might have some preferences, but I think like if a bad chick of any race comes by you and she's nice, like dude's gonna give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with him on that. But see, this is where I always gave red pill and pushback, because they got a lot of truths in there. But it's just, the picture he's painting where he's like, man, we don't want independent women. I think we need to stop saying that. We don't want combative or, chicks that are constantly just, unruly. Those are the type of women, because there's nothing wrong with independent. I think sometimes people just got to understand definitions of what people imply. I like independent women. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean like I want the combativeness, I think when guys picture a lot of times women that work, they just have a prototype of, oh, she's going to be talking back. She's going to do this. It's like, no, man, like this is why you got to get the working woman that actually likes you and that is respectful. So it's like, it shouldn't get past like week 2. You could spot this shit early. But see, a lot of times what, like what he's saying sounds right, but they always miss the dynamic of like most of these guys are infatuated with these women, and that's the reality. So it's like the females, they play kind of the submissive game, but it all ends the same for a lot of those like NBA players. They all getting cleaned out. so it's like, obviously this shit ain't working. So it's like, nah, you might want to get that independent chick that gets some money, that knows how to have respect, and that's on your program. Because that whole submissive shit that y'all trying to paint, man, we see all of them getting wiped out and getting, screwed over in court and shit. So it's just like, nah, man, that's why I always paint the picture, man. You got to get the female that will invest in you. I know I get a lot of pushback, but it's like, man, if you don't get it in our dynamic and she's willing to get on your page and willing to break some bread, I'm telling you, man, I don't see it working out too much. And so I think in their mind, they're just like, nah, independence is bad. It's like, no, a disrespectful woman is bad. That goes for, traditional marriages, modern, whatever. It's just like, man, if you don't get the right woman with the right mindset, it ain't gonna work in any of them capacities. Because you look at the divorce rates across the board, it's like, whether it's traditional, those are high, So it's like a lot of times people paint this picture like, oh, I got to get this type. It's gonna work out. It's like, no, you better make sure all that shit line up and they got the right mindset. That's where we need to be digging deep into that stuff. All this, like, because they almost make it seem like if they say like, I think some of the females, they know how to play quiet up front, but it's like once they get that over that threshold of marriage, then that's when that switch happens and stuff. Because they know how to spot these guys and they know that they're infatuated with beauty. So that's why you always see those NBA players. How many of these stories have we covered with an NBA player? Getting took to the cleaners.
And still,
it's becoming more and more common. Yeah. So that's the dynamic that they kind of set themselves up for.
Yeah, man. And I believe, like I said, this is the one part I do believe in, that equality, man. Like, just as you want us to be successful, I want a woman to be successful as well too. And people like, they put this narrative to not date independent type of women, but I look for a woman who's like really responsible. So there's nothing wrong with being a responsible woman, because what it shows me is that you know how to take care of your own bills. You're not foolishly spending on like based off your emotions. Most guys, they spend money based off the emotions as well too. But I'm just saying, from a human being standpoint, you definitely want someone that actually has like a more mature mindset. What up, Great Pill?
What's good, Gary Pill? But it's also like, hey, if I pull you into my lane and I'm already a finished product, I want you to be able to manage my money and be cautious with it. So that's the part right there. I ain't bring you in just to spend this shit. So that's where it's like a lot of them they end up doing, man. So it's like the females is coming there, like they said, hey, the girl in the first segment was like, hey, I want you to like me more so I could sit back and do nothing. So that's what a lot of those guys end up pulling in their life. So it's like, nah, there's nothing wrong with independence. Independence is actually pretty healthy. If that person is into you and they're not, they ain't self-centered and selfish. So you should be looking for that person that's like selfless. So I think we got to dig a little deeper now. It's like, all right, man, we ain't got to be on this surface level bullet points. We can start digging deeper in these conversations. And there's just one last thing, and I'll kick it over to you, Gray Pill. And then also, I hate the race conversations.
Yeah.
Because my thing is everybody typically marries themselves and divorces themselves. So it's like, obviously, if we're talking about the divorce rates being high and shit, it's just like people got to acknowledge that, like, hey, I think a bad person is just a bad person. So you should just be open to target good characteristics and go for somebody that got the good qualities. So yeah, that's why I hate race conversations. I've done seen every prototype of woman, especially like, I know you're from Jersey, Gray Pill. Like, man, you see every nationality. So there's good and there's bad mixed in.
Yeah. You can't avoid it. Haitian, Trinidad, Douglas, Jamaican. Like, I dated them all. Like, you just can't avoid it. I remember in my during my high school time years, it was just like some white chicks I thought were Latino because they had like all the curly hair and the dark lipstick, but kind of found out it was just like a regular white chick. So, but you treat me good, I treat you good, we move on. If it doesn't move forward, it is what it is. So yeah, I'll leave it like that.
So what's your take on what he was saying so far, Gray Pill? What's your breakdown?
Pretty much same as Drew. I don't want to hold you up. I'd rather just get more into the conversation, the video, and then we can keep it going.
Okay. All right. Just let us know when you want to stop and stuff, and then we'll M3, right. You start the video back up.
I got you. Salute, Great Pill.
Hey, salute, man.
A lot of the women that are getting upset at the fact that he is stating this, that it is true, and that a lot of guys are divesting themselves from the type of women that they originally had available to them once they start to get resources and they become more successful.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, man. I can't tell you how many times, because here's the thing, right? Like, you don't know what you don't know, right? So like, let's say you're growing up in the hood, right? And all you've dealt with is like, ratchet women that are kind of rough around the edges. And like, you've been indoctrinated to think like, you should be accepting this. Like, this is great. Cool. You'll deal with it for a bit, but then you get some money and status, and then you date an Asian girl. She ain't talking back to you. She rubs your feet without you asking. She's making you food. You know what I mean? She's bringing you around her Chinese friends and stuff like that. You're walking into the, to the grocery store. Niggas aren't telling you hurry up and buy no more. You're like, damn.
Pause real quick.
Hold on. It's a process.
Yeah, I definitely gotta react to that because your finger triggers like slow. But anywho, this is where the ignorant part comes in right here, right? He's saying when you get now Myron right here says, and I quote, once you get up in social status, your dating pool will increase and change. Therefore, you will get, and he mentioned race on this one. I don't know about him. And again, this is going back to the lore, arc, and history of Myron. he quoted and stated about him not actually having an official girlfriend. His before the official girlfriend thing, before that, it was his dating pool was nothing consist of. He wanted nothing but a harem of women, and nothing less, nothing more. He didn't really have that much of dating experience in the past. So there's actually guys and men out there that hasn't made as much as Myron making now, that actually dated different types of races of girls. Like it just, that's a thing. There's also type of guys that's like, hey, that haven't had that much money or haven't had that much status, that actually dated other women that has a lot more money currently and more so than Myron and Anton probably combined or separately. That's a thing too. So for us to sit there, for him to sit there and make a statement as bold as that, and it's not untrue, that's within itself, it's like so disingenuous. Like you have, so it's like, so you have to like be up on this higher echelon and automatically just going to see all these. No, you can go to college and be grinding and building and working up, and you'll come across certain types of women like that. Heck, you can be broke and on your, hey, let me try to become a artiste or a painter, and you'll come across a certain type of women. It's always something as how you move. So I don't know where Mark got that from, but it's not always based on money. It's just not.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, man. I think it's the dynamic, like I say guys that probably didn't have the best interactions with women when they were coming up. So when they finally did get successful, it's almost like they gotta pitch that to everybody. And it's like you said, everybody has like different circumstances and different interactions. So it's like, yeah, everybody don't have to take the same approach. But I think that's like the cope for people that like back in the day, like what they had to deal with. It's like, oh well, I had to get the status. It's like, yeah, you had to do that. Because
I would even give marriage low key pass. Like, hey, there's some guys that just get lucky and come across maybe a different race or a different type of woman. Okay, that's fine. But if that's a moment you have, that's a moment like, okay, let me shoot my shot, and then it's like, let me be genuinely me. That's when the moment need to come to really shoot your shot, and then let that person see who you are. But leading with money, leading with status, it only going to get you so far. Like, yeah, and no disrespect to Myron, but even Aaron and Anton and Myron's like on totally different calibers of how I got my quote unquote woman. Anton started stories like, hey, high school sweetheart, blah 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 blah, right? And here he is. Anton's like on his 40s. Myron reaching to his 40s, just now getting a quote unquote official girlfriend that he officially met on a sugar baby's website. Damn. Totally two different dynamics.
You said a sugar baby website?
Yeah.
Damn. And you talk about status? Like, damn, you just jump on that website with some money and shit. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Shit.
Yeah.
All right, we jump back in the video.
All right, for sure.
So what ends up happening, right? Like, okay.
Oh, and guys, just to let you guys know, I'm gonna close out like in 10 minutes. So once it gets to the 1:45 mark, we're gonna wrap it up.
Hey, this is nice. Like, I've never experienced this before. And when you get this different treatment, you're like, damn, I can't go back to LaQuisha now. I'm not trying to argue with her. I like Ling Ling. Ling Ling loves me a long time and she don't argue with me. And this is what ends up happening a lot of the times with guys is like, you don't know what you don't know until you experience it. So when they get this money, they get the status, they get access to it, you can't go backwards. So that's what's happening a lot of the times with these guys that get some status. Like you just put around women that kind of know their place just off of the imbalance of your status and your income. They know to shut the fuck up and know what it is. So women just naturally know this stuff. But when they know that they have more status than you, they got more money than you, and they can talk back to you,
that's not even true either.
But once you reach a certain level of status, women start to be quiet, and it's fantastic.
What about
that's not even true. That again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. That's not even true either. If you carry yourself, you have boundaries, you have expectations of what you want in your type of woman, they should just know. Again, his term is like the shut the fuck up part. They should just know. Again, me, for example, broken busy guy, right? I date a woman, Latino, wasn't black, came to the house, invite her over for dinner. I cook for her. When I stepped out to go take out trash and try to introduce my neighbor that's happened to be a cool female friend of mine, say, hey, I got a girlfriend. She's out here. Do you want to meet her type deal? As I'm having that exchange going out my door, what she's doing, she's already in there washing dishes, whatever. Like, hey, you cook, I clean. You know what I'm saying? It is that type of thing that goes on. And that was something the person just knew, or when we having casual conversations, understood like, hey, this is what I need to do. It just happens. Some people just don't need to tell. Some people just don't need to say. Some people just don't need to imply certain things to. People just either have that type of home training or just have that type of courtesy and say, hey, this is how I get my man. This is how I get to add more cool points to my belt, just like most guys do with women. That's it. Again, you don't have to lead with money to have that, or to like yell and tell a chick to do that. You just don't. If you're that type of guy to do that, something's literally wrong with you. And I'll leave it there.
Great pill. Quick question. Do you, because I know you got that dynamic. Just, you know, you could tell like certain dudes, but do you think it's because you know how to, like the certain type of women that you go after for like the mindset, that's why you have those type of interactions?
I think it's like also could be trial and error too, because like me coming up, I had like majority of women in my family, so it's like they would just like majority of stuff like on the social media stuff, like the cackling or whatever. I would just listen to them or talk about themselves or talk about the women. So I would use that as a tool to like, okay, if I came across another woman and then the stuff that my aunts or whatever talked about, I would take that as a red flag or a green light, and I'll move forward like that. And then the little stuff like, say, us homeboys, we're talking, I'll take a little bit of that. But if we're just talking about us guys, but us guys don't know girls, and I'm listening to like me, you, and M3 and everybody else like, oh, well, this girl does that. I'm not going to really take too much invest in what we're saying because we don't know. We're not women. You know what I'm saying? Even a little bit like the stuff with Lola saying, I'll take more grain of that, of the insight to move forward. But then at the same time, when I'm going to that, like putting that quote unquote in the actual play, it just goes by trial and error. Hey, well, she didn't like the joke I said, or she didn't like the offer, the pitch I gave her, or hey, this one don't like it because I don't got a car. This one does like it because I got a car. This one like it because I dress well or whatever. It just all depends on how you move and carry yourself. It really comes by trial and error. And no respect to Myron again, pushing his 40s, didn't have really no success. Claim he did. Everything that comes to depart for the past 3 or 4 years podcasting only proved that he using everything, his status and money is leverage to gain whatever he want to gain from the woman. It's not an actual relationship. It's not nothing genuine from it, except for like which is fine. If you that guy that want to dictate the rules of what type of woman you want and you're implementing that to that person, fine, do that. But at the same time, you got to be honest. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm telling women. This is a quote unquote is my way to highway or get out type deal. Just be honest with it.
Okay, I got you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go ahead, man. We're gonna continue like the rest of this video. So we got 5 more minutes.
About the guys that get finessed. So, like for example, I know that it's a lot of women that make the adjustment because they know that they're around a certain type of guy. And then Q Diddy, you can jump in too. But I just got this one last question. What about the guys that wind up getting finessed?
That's the biggest problem. And this happens so much. I mean, me and you have seen it, Anton, probably like in this sphere on, you know, with celebrities every single time, you know, especially with young guys that have a lot of money that like that trick or do some other stuff, especially like on these OnlyFans girls, because like it's a cool thing now to get with these e-thoughts. So that's the biggest problem for guys that have some influence and some status. And this is why it's so important to be like red pill aware, especially when you got some money and status. Like you have to be even more on point because you have way more to lose. I mean, look at what's going on right now with Shannon Sharp. Like this is wild, right? But he should have kind of known that this chick be an OF girl, because I guarantee you, like a chick like this, you offer a girl 10 million, most girls would have taken that deal. You know what it is? He promised her a dream and she didn't get it. So now she's going to burn down the house with everything because the vitriol at which she's going at him and how she's trying to make this public and tarnish his name in the process whilst hurting her own reputation, by the way. Like the fact that she's going so hard tells me that he made some promises to her, like, oh, you're going to be the one, I love you, blah, blah, blah. They're in a long-term relationship, so they probably had some kind of serious talks. So I think like what's going on with that situation is he made some promises, he's not keeping them, and now she's pissed off.
What was you about to say, Quentin?
I was raising my hand to the guy that gets finessed.
Oh, you get finessed?
I have been.
I think it's a part of the journey, though. Like every single guy.
Yeah, I'm
hit pause.
Yeah, but see, again, this is the thing. Everybody in this panel, even this panel here, we're all normal, regular guys. Like Shannon Sharp is a whole nother tier compared to like this was the level scale, right? Anton and Myron's total different level scales. As far as if they want to do the social status, whatever, Anton would literally be on top of Myron, but Shannon Sharp would literally be on top of Anton with this social status, right? Football player, famous for years, decades, all this good stuff. And here we got Quentin with the hand raised up, goofy as hell, saying the stuff you're saying. But at the same time, this is reality. Everybody pretty much took an L at their day of time. Anton is no exception for anything else. He always talk about how he's evolving and all stuff. Everybody's gonna make a mistake. We're all human, guys. Even the girls alike. Like, come on now. Like, I don't know. Let me go ahead, man.
No, that's a good point because, yeah, that's why I hate the social status stuff. It's like, man, you're not immune to like failure.
Nothing.
And you're gonna actually fall probably a little bit harder if you don't. Step away from that. And that's why I always give pushback on like the status stuff. I'm like, man, if somebody genuinely don't like you, man, like you're gonna get got. We done seen too many celebrities, like you said, guys that like run laps around everybody, with Kevin Costner, Robert De Niro,
the dude
Al
from
Pacino.
Amazon, the dude, that Amazon guy, him and his wife came together. Yeah, they came together. He messed up. He's like, crap, and I got to give her like what 65% of my assets to her. But again, he really wasn't losing anything because he still got his company, still building. So it's like it is what it is. But he took an L.
Yeah, so it's just like they got to step away from that, and because I know Myron too been in a lot of situations. So it's just sometimes it's kind of funny though when it's like the most knowledgeable people, they walk into those traps and stuff. So it's like, damn, yeah, y'all ain't avoid some of these situations.
But yet you're teaching it.
For real, facts. Yeah, and that's where like people like put themselves in that conundrum, man. Like listen to all this red pill like advice about do this, do that, and it's like you're training people to try to be like a emotionless type of machine. But look, man, it ain't happening. And the advice that you put out there, you're not even living the life anyway. Not to disrespect, Myron personally, but you don't really have a solid track record for me to say, okay, like your advice is pretty solid.
Well, he's spitting a lot of the stuff is truthful what people say, but it's the part where they mess up is like the action piece. And that's the issue with a lot of men. It's just like, hey man, it's cool to say a bunch of facts, but if it's not lining up with your actions, that's where you get in trouble, like what you end up doing at the end of the day. So like Shannon Sharp, Myron had his shit fresh, got into trouble. It's because even though you're saying don't line up with like an OnlyFans girl, like what Great Pill was saying, it's like, man, if you're on a sugar baby site, what the fuck you think you pulling in your life? Like she of the same ilk as those females. So yeah, it's just like, man, you're saying great things, but shit, like if your actions is lining up with those type of females, like, man, they don't care about your status. They're finding a way to like get at your bread, and they're gonna hem your ass up because that's what's happening. They don't give a fuck about none of that stuff. They're looking to cash out. So yeah, they looking at your status like, damn, this gonna be a big jackpot that I hit. And they're taking it as like, oh man, I got this status. They really like me and stuff. They're gonna sit down and do this. I'm like, you better talk to those divorce lawyers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely for sure. But look, man, let me just play a little bit of this, and then I'm definitely closing out.
Yeah, we'll let Great Pill close this out.
Yeah. All right, let's see what was the last part he was gonna say.
Out whether you were nice to a girl that didn't deserve it, you courted a girl too much, you got stuck in the friend zone. I think every guy has been finessed by a woman, and it's good because it teaches you because like when guys have to like get their, what I've noticed with men, especially from coaching thousands of men, I'll tell them, yo, don't do this. They'll still do it anyway, and then they'll come back to me and say, damn, you were right. And then it makes that learning lesson much more potent because now they felt the burn and they're like, all right, I can, you warned me and I felt it. It's one thing for you to tell them. It's another thing for them to find out as well. And it makes it that much stronger. So a lot of guys, they got to get burned by women. Very few guys like can learn from others and not make that mistake versus most guys have to make that mistake to learn for real. a lot of the times, unfortunately.
Do you think that it's best that guys get burned early? Because it seems like once guys get resources and get money, that it really becomes an issue.
Yeah,
and I'm not
I
sure if
think
they
early.
learned the lesson.
I think early. Once you get money and resources, then she's playing for keeps. Like this girl right now going after Shannon Sharp, she's playing for keeps. So it's like, and they have an incentive to do so. When you're broke and you're a nobody, like, are they incentivized to go after you as hard? Probably not. Then maybe they'll embarrass you in the neighborhood. Oh yeah, weirdo, blah blah blah. That's cool. You can move and be fine. But when you got some money and your resources, and this is why it's so bad for young guys. Oh, dude. The young guys that like aren't red pill aware and get some money and status, they get cooked the worst. It's better for you to almost like be broke, make these mistakes as you're coming up, then get the money, understand women, and then you're in a much more, you're in a much better position because then you can mitigate the risk, or you already know how to deal with certain women off of how they come at you. You're like, oh yeah, this girl's a thought, I gotta deal with her this way. Okay, this girl, I can maybe let her in a little bit, but like you get that wisdom from failing, and you gotta fail it. You almost gotta fail when you're broke, because you kind of see how you see the real side of females. Like when you don't have all your stuff together, you don't have money like that yet. You really get to see like the dark side of hypergamy. And I think men need to be exposed to that, to see how callous and how cold women can really be when they're not interested in you. Because I truly think like women are much more cold-blooded than men are, way more, especially when they're not interested. Their interest in men drop off precipitously way faster. They're more likely to end relationships. They're more likely to break your heart without you even knowing about it, because they broke up with you 6 months. They've already been plotting the breakup. So like with women, I think men need to experience that, because this kind of insulates you from making those mistakes later on when it's going to cost you significantly more money.
Okay.
What do you say about the chat?
We could close.
Yeah. What you want to say, Jerk?
No, I was gonna say, man. So do y'all think like men should get their experience early? Those failures.
I mean, it depends. Like, if you wasn't raised by anybody, life is going to give you a lesson. You pretty much, when you come up to this world, you're supposed to have parents. That's how you got into this world. You got a mom, you got a dad, you got a mom. So they're supposed to teach you. That's one. Two, it takes a village to raise a child for the most part. So you got the grandmas, the grandpas, the uncles, the aunties. You got your school, you got your peers. So you got everybody around you supposed to guide you in the right direction. And then you got life. So again, that one piece that he's saying, like, yeah, you're supposed to get burned or hurt early. That's life. A life is gonna life regardless. But if you have the people around you, your friends, everybody else, pretty much saying the same thing and guiding you and giving you positive advice, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to take it, that's something else. I don't think you're supposed to get burnt early. I think you're supposed to like have a lot of tools in your belt to avoid a lot of things that, like the example that he gave, the Shannon Sharp situation, that should have been like the basic common sense. All of us here agree. We saw that red flag coming a mile away. Why didn't he? So that was a him problem. That's a mental problem. This ain't hey, guys need to get burnt like that just to learn a lesson. No, stupid. You see something like that coming, and you have all these people and friends around you like giving you this real awareness, this real social cues. It's like, clearly that's a red flag. I'm not feeling it, but we do have guys like, fuck it, I'll just go ahead and just, matter of fact, the fuck it thing. She looked good, but she crazy. Fuck it, I'm gonna sleep with it anyway. Oh, she looked hot, and this, that, third. I heard she cut my man three up like a year ago. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? You do have those guys that does that, but only difference is Shannon Sharp like said the fuck it for 2 years. But again, I don't agree with Myron about the early thing. I think he's disassociating with that for life lessons versus actual real lessons like you're supposed to have coming up. You're supposed to have your dad, supposed to have your mom, you're supposed to have your peers, supposed to have your guardians, whoever around you to lead you in the right way. And then if you come across these actual red flags, if you can't figure it out from there, hey, who would be better to teach you? Hey, maybe it's a real woman that would give it to you straight. Maybe you be your homies that give it to you. You should be comfortable enough to go to these people to ask for those, like, hey, what about this? What do you think? And then they'll give you the advice. Then if you do decide to say, you know what, I'm going to still jump that hurdle, but I'm going to still play the games, like you're going to come out the end of the game as a winner and you still lose, that's a problem with you. Because then you're playing, again, back to life. You're playing with life. So I don't agree with what Myron's saying. I think he's using that as like a pivot to make something more than what it is, and it's not. It's life.
Yeah, I agree with you, Great Pill, because you said something earlier, man, and I think that's the issue that guys have, where you was like, look, man, I had sisters, I observed, I listened. You know, you took those gems, you know, so you was observing, and like I said, you took that wisdom, and I think that's the issue with guys. I think too many times, man, like this is pretty common sense stuff, so you don't have to learn like a ton of bad lessons. Hell, you can see a lot of people, what they say, wise people learn from other people's mistakes. So yeah, I took some L's from females as far as like breaking up and stuff, but never really had no crazy situations, because I was like looking at people, I'm like, oh hell nah, man, like I need to get somebody that like me. So I never had, you know, the Shannon Sharp type of situations and stuff like that, because like you said, that's pretty common sense. So yeah, I don't think you need to learn like crazy scenarios. I'm not talking about breakups and stuff. That's totally different. Some people, it ain't gonna work out. But yeah, you don't need a ton of bad experience. If you got a ton of bad experience, you're just hard-headed, like Great Pill was saying.
Yeah,
So,
no, I agree to it. I will say this though before I close out, like it's cool to have like to learn early on. I'm not saying get burnt early on, but if you could learn from someone else's mistakes, then yes, learn as much as you can. A smart person learns from his or her mistake, but a wise person learns from the mistake of others. Salutes to Ruthless Truth, man. Salutes to you.
What's good, Ruthless?
Yeah. Ruthless Truth, man. It's coming at the tail end of things, man. We're about to get ready to close out. But yeah, man, that's my take onto it, man. And Great Pill, thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Shout out to Great Pill pulling up. But I'll just say one last thing, man. I know way more older people that haven't learned a lesson that would just jump in there. And the reality is, it's just like, I think a lot of men, if they see a pretty chick, man, it's like they lose their bearing, man. And that's the issue. Like I said, that infatuation, man, it's I'm telling you, when that hits, man, guys ain't learned a lesson. Because by now, like when you hit a certain age, you done heard the stories, we done seen some things. So yeah, men are just hard-headed, man. That's the issue. It's our ego, man. The change of person syndrome, that's what I call it, man, where people think they could change people and they're not going to get bit either. So yeah, I agree with what Great Pill is saying. This is mainly people being hard-headed.
I definitely agree. We see him all the time, even though guys, I remember one old guy, he was flirting with a chick. He saw she had the ring on her finger and she wasn't like paying him no attention, wasn't giving him advances. And then I kind of low-key stepped in, like made a comment like, hey, sir, do you need this? And he caught on to what I was doing. Like I was cop blocking him. Like, dude, calm the fuck down. Because you don't know this woman's husband and what could be coming around the corner. You don't know he's crazy. And I've seen that happen too, where the woman would come into the store and she would automatically assume that her husband would think something because she's seen her husband like literally run back in the store, just wanting to slap a person or wild out just for no reason, because that's his woman. Like, and he caught on to it. He was just like, come on, man. Like, you see me talking to her. And I just like played dumb and just ignored him and kept on going. And she's like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I was like, no problem. And that was it. So yeah, us guys, we hard-headed too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one's ever exempt, man. But yeah, man, thank you guys, man, for tuning in again. We are definitely closing out. Salutes to Lola. I see her up in the well
Lola
too.
said Moist Myron. Shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not Moist Myron. Yeah. Anyways, y'all, man, catch you guys again on the next live. And we are definitely out. Peace, everybody.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right.
knowledge in relationships.